Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of What's Cooking. We are continuing on with our healthy comfort food recipes, and tonight I am making apple cider donuts. I know that doesn't sound healthy, does it? But we're baking these, not frying them, and we are using some healthier ingredients to kind of cut back on some of those simple carbs. So I've prepped all my ingredients and my donut pans. I have two of these cute little donut pans that I have sprayed with some nonstick cooking spray. So we're just gonna set those aside for right now. And I've got a medium bowl here. So in the medium bowl, we are gonna do 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour and 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. If you have whole wheat pastry flour, you can use the full 1 3/4 cups of whole wheat pastry flour. I just didn't have any, so I'm subbing in some of the regular all-purpose flour to compensate for that. And then we are gonna do a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, some salt and some cinnamon. You can add however much cinnamon you want. I like a lot, so I probably put in half a tablespoon to a tablespoon and about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to stir that together. And then we're going to set this aside once we get it mixed in nicely. And then in a smaller bowl, we're going to mix together our wet ingredients. So I've got half a cup of apple cider. I'm going to put that in there. About 3 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. 1/3 of a cup of unsweetened applesauce. You want to make sure that you get the unsweetened because you don't want all that extra sugar in there. 1/4 of a cup of plain Greek yogurt. You could use like the vanilla Greek yogurt too if you really wanted to. I don't think that would hurt anything at all. Get all that in there. I also have my oven preheated to 350, so you want to make sure that that's done ahead of time. I have a half a cup of coconut sugar and 1 egg we're going to pop in there. And then we are going to grab our whisk and we're going to whisk all this together. And then we're going to add this to our dry ingredients and just mix that well. And then you can either spoon it into your donut hole things, donut cups, I don't know what they're called, or you can pipe them in. So piping them in is a little less messy. So I'm going to do that, and you don't have to have like a pastry bag to do it. You can totally just use a Ziploc bag and cut the end off, which is really cool. So once we get all this mixed together, then I am going to put that in a Ziploc and just mix it together that way, or pipe it into the little hole things. So I will be back once this is done mixing, and I've got most of those filled, and I'll show you 1 or 2 so you guys can see how it's done. Then we're going to pop those in the oven, and when they come out, we're going to put a little cinnamon sugar mix on top. And we're going to serve this with some scrambled eggs with kale in it, just to make it a complete meal, because I mean, donuts aren't a complete meal. They can be if you really want them to be, but gotta add some protein and some veggies. So I'll be back shortly to show you guys the rest of this cool recipe. Alrighty, I've got my batter in my Ziploc bag, and I'm just squeezing it around. I cut the hole kind of big since we're using the donut pan, and I'm just gonna squeeze that around into the little tray, I guess. I don't know what they're called. I have a little left over, so, you know, whichever ones look a little light, just add a little extra to. And then we are gonna pop these into the oven for about 8 minutes or so until they're baked through. And then we're gonna add a little of that cinnamon sugar on the outside. And while these are in the oven, I am going to get my eggs ready and get those cooked in the pan. And there we go. And then it's nice. Just throw this out. So I'm gonna pop those in the oven, and then I'll be back to show you how to get the cinnamon sugar on there when we're done, and show you the kale eggs, which is super easy, and then we'll be ready to eat dinner. All right, so the donuts are in, and I've chopped up one small bunch of kale. I have my pan here heating over medium heat, and I just sprayed it with some non-stick cooking spray. So we're gonna add the kale in here, and we're just gonna cook it briefly. It doesn't need a lot of time to cook. Let me just grab a spoon. Just enough to kind of soften it up a little bit. And then while this is cooking, we're just gonna whisk up our eggs. I just have 8 eggs in here. I usually do 2 eggs per person, so you can adjust that depending on how many people you are feeding. And salt and pepper, and just some almond milk, probably about 1/3 of a cup or so. I just estimate like a tablespoon per egg, and I just pour. So, I mean, totally up to you how much liquid you want. And I like to whisk the eggs because it makes them a little fluffier when you add them to the pan. So I like to use the whisk on them. You can use a fork, but just a personal preference. Alright, stir this around a little bit. Starting to get a couple of little crispy spots, which is really good. I like that. They soften up when you add the eggs. So I am going to cook this for a little while, add my eggs in there, and then just cook them like scrambled eggs. When the donuts come out, they have to sit in the pan for 2 minutes before we can put the cinnamon sugar on. So once that is done, we'll be back to show you that. All right, so the donuts are out of the oven and they cooled in the pan for 2 minutes, and then I just put them on a wire rack. So here they are. So now what we're gonna do, I've melted down 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. We're just gonna brush a little bit on both sides of the donut. We're going to set it in our mixture of cinnamon sugar. It's 1 tablespoon or 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon, more if you want, and about 1/2 cup of regular white cane sugar. So we're just going to do a little brush on here, like this, both sides. Put that in there and just mix it around a little bit. And we have got our sugar-coated donut. So I am going to finish up the rest of these. I've got my eggs ready to go, and then it will be time to eat. So thank you guys for joining me again for another episode. I hope you enjoyed this healthy version of an apple cider donut. And if you want to see more healthy recipes, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and make sure that you click that little bell icon so you can get notifications every time I post a new video. And as always, the link to the recipe is below the video. You can go and click on that and grab that so you guys can make these too. And if you're watching this over on Instagram TV, make sure you head over to my profile and follow me over there so you don't miss a recipe there either. All right, guys, thanks for joining me again, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.